Hi, welcome to another interesting mathematics lesson. My name is Kingsley Linus. In this lesson, we'll be looking at the part 2 of the topic whole numbers. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to count, read and write in trillions. Secondly, you should be able to apply the counting, reading and writing of large numbers in everyday life. And lastly, you should be able to solve quantitative aptitude reasoning problems involving large numbers. Recall that in the part 1 of this lesson, we learned about millions and billions. In this lesson, we'll be going further to learn about larger numbers, trillions. 1 million has 7 digits. 1 billion has 10 digits. And now, a trillion has 13 digits. Digit 1 and 12 zeros. Also, in the part 1 of this lesson, we learned about place value. And place value is very important in reading, counting, or writing large numbers. Just so you know, one easy way around large numbers is to know the number of zeros you have in a particular number, or to know the number of digits you should have in a particular number. I already mentioned that 1 trillion has 13 digits, digit 1 and 12 zeros. You must always keep this in mind whenever you are handling large numbers. To make counting, reading or writing large numbers easy, there's a shorter method to present large numbers. This method combines word and figures. Let's find out how this method is used. Here is a number 1.753 trillion. The first part of this number is made up of figures, and the second part is made up of a word. So we can express a very large number in a short form like this. Now let's find out how this number can be expressed in figures as well as in words. In words, the number can be expressed as 1,753 billion. And in figures, we have 1, 753, and 9 zeros. The decimal point here tells us that every other number behind the decimal point is a fraction of the main number, because the main number has the name that comes after the figures. Having said all this, let's try practicing. Write the following in word and figure forms. We have 5.3 million. Now in words, we can express that as 5,300,000. And in figures, we have 5, 300, and 3 zeros. Secondly, we have 1.6678 billion. Now, the main figure, which is the number in front of the decimal, 1 billion. And then we have 667,800,000 in words. Now in figures, we have 1, that is 1 billion. We have 667, that is 667 million. Then we have 800,000 and 3 zeros. Now, lastly, we have 5.112 trillion. Of course, our 5 trillion, and then 112 billion. In figures, we have 5, that is 5 trillion, 112 billion, and then we have 9 zeros. To help you comprehend this better, let's take some examples. Write the following in words: 10.6 trillion, 61.67 trillion. To solve this, for question 1, we have 10.6 trillion. We can start by expressing our number in figures, and then we go ahead to write it in words, which is what is actually required of us. 10 trillion 600 billion. For the next number, we have 61.67 trillion. So as usual, we express it in figures, and then we write in words 61 trillion 670 billion. Now, to the next example, write the following in figures. We have 31 trillion 50,000 and 20 trillion 249,965. So, 31 trillion and 50,000. Of course, in this kind of situation, it is important to know the proper place value of your figures, fix the numbers in their right position, and then fill up with zeros, as we have here. Now, to the next question. We have 20 trillion. So here's our 20 trillion. 249,000. So we go to the 1,000 place value position, and we have 249, and then 965. So we have 965, and then we fill up our zeros in their right positions. So this is how we handle large numbers, writing them in words as well as in figures. Having done these examples, I have an exercise for you. Pause the video and try out the questions. I'm sure you are done. The instruction says, write the following in words. Question 1, 10.84 trillion. So we have 10 trillion 840 billion. For question 2, 1.6678 trillion. The answer is 1 trillion 667 billion 8 million. The instruction 2 says, write the following in figures. 72 trillion 913 million 633,501. In figures, we have 72 000 913 633 501. And lastly, we have 42 trillion 25,000. In figures, that would be 42 000 000 025 000. If these were your answers, you are correct. Let's talk about the use of large numbers in our daily lives. We find large numbers when we talk about population, budgets, stock market figures, and so on. Let's see some examples to better understand the use of large numbers in our everyday life. The example says, a newspaper report says the country's external reserves grew from 32.08 billion naira in May 2011 to 48.4 billion naira as at May 2013. Write the two amounts in A, their full digits, and B, words. Secondly, by how much did the external reserve increase? Now, in digits, the number 32.08 billion naira is written as, we have 32.08 billion. The first two digits can be expressed as 32 billion, while 0.08 billion means 80 million. So in figures, we have 32 million 80 billion naira. And for the second number in figures, we have 48 billion 400 million. In words, 32 billion 80 million naira and 48 billion 400 million naira. Then lastly, question 2. How much did the external reserve increase? So we'll take 32.08 billion from 48.4 billion, and that gives us 16.32 billion. Here is another example. Write the number 3542073892 properly in groups of trees and then in words. So our number, we are expressing it in group of trees. So we start from the last 3 digits, 892, the next 3 digits, 073, and then the next 3 digits, 542, and then we have our tree. So in words, we have 3,542,073,892. For more emphasis, let's look at another example. Write each of the following in words and in figures. We have 2 billion, 4.8 billion, one whole number 3/4 trillion. Now in words, 2 billion is just 2 billion. And in figures, we have 2 and 9 zeros. That is 10 digits. For the second question, 4.8 billion. In words, we have 4 billion 800 million naira. And in figures, we have 4 and 800 million. One whole number, 3/4, can be written as 1.75. So, one whole number 3/4 trillion is the same as 1.75 trillion. In words, we have 1,750 billion. And in figures, we have 1, 750, and then 9 zeros. Let's look at some quantitative aptitude reasoning questions on large numbers. Complete the following. Here we have 5 million. So we are expected to fill in this position and fill this place. And in the second example, we have 700,100, 700,200, and we are expected to fill in these positions. Now, let's look at the solution to all this. Since we have 5 million in the first position, and on the third position we have 7 million, it means 6 million is meant to be here, and 8 million is meant to be here. For the next set of numbers, we have 700,100 and 700,200. So, this position would be 700,300 and 700,500. Moving on to the next example, we have 750 billion, 400 million, 300,892. And the next number is 750 billion, 400 million, 300,891. You would observe that the major difference is in the unit position. So we can go ahead to solve this problem, and then we change the unit position counting down. So we have 750 billion, 400 million, 300,892, 750 billion, 400 million, 300,891, and then 750 billion, 400 million, 300,890, and then 889, 888. So these are the answers to these problems. Now try out this exercise. Do well to pause the video and answer the questions. I'm sure you're done. The instruction says, write the following numbers properly by grouping in threes. 2, 7, 5, 3, 2, 4, 7. So we have 2 753,247. For the second question, we have 8,032,000,024,532. The next instruction says, what is the correct name for each of the following? Number 1, 1,000 million. 1,000 million is the same as 1 billion. Question 2, a million million. A million million is the same as 1 trillion. For this exercise, the instruction says complete the following. In the place of our first question mark, we have 6,132,800. In the place of our second question mark, we have 6,132,600. And in the place of our last question mark, we have 6,132,500. For the next set of numbers, in the place of our first question mark, we have 4,529,000. And in the place of our second question mark, we have 4,329,000. And lastly, in the last set of numbers, in the place of our first question mark, we have 211,100. And in the place of our second question mark, we have 211,120. And in the place of the third question mark, we have 211,130. Here is where we come to the end of this lesson. But let's take a quick look at all we've learned. First, we learned that counting is the process of determining the number of elements of a finite set of objects. We also learned that we write the digits of large numbers in groups of 3 from right to left and leaving a small gap between or separating them with commas. In Nigeria, the American system is used for counting and reading large numbers. Going on, we learned that we can write large numbers in short form by combining word and figures. We also learned that a million has 7 digits, 1 billion has 10 digits, and 1 trillion has 13 digits. And lastly, we learned that place value is the value of where a digit is in a number. And of course you do know, it is test time. Question 1. Express the statement in figures. CBN injects 6.2 trillion naira into circulation. From the options, which is the correct answer? The correct answer is option D. Question 2 says, arrange this number 843 000 000 0000 properly in groups of trees. Amongst this option, which is the correct answer? The correct answer is option C. Wow! So finally, we've come to the end of our lesson on whole numbers. Thank you for your time. Till we meet again in another mathematics lesson. Bye-bye.